We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Michael. According to this, there will be pictures because it says pics.
That's right.
Which is plural.
There it is.
So I'm imagining somewhere in the vicinity of 15.
Definitely
pictures
not that
for
many,
Michael's.
But
anyways, Michael just ordered the Sync Sierra 1 speakers to upgrade his front left and right CMT 340 SE speakers. He should get together with the last dude. He's running a 4.2 setup with a Phantom Center, dual HSU subs, one at the front of the room, one at the back, and an HSU HB1 Mark II surround speakers. Okay. I wouldn't think that those would match very well with those Ascends, but whatever. Okay. Excuse me. Michael's theater area is completely opened on the left side, but he has a wall on the right side. He's got a plush couch and a couple of 2x2 absorption panels on that right wall. What can he do to improve the soundstage as much as possible? One thing that Michael would really like is a larger, wider soundstage. Right now, his speakers are about 8 feet apart, and he sits about 10.5 feet away. That puts the front right speaker about 3 feet from the right side wall. Should he position his new Sierra 1 front left right speakers further apart, even though this will put the front right speaker closer to that right wall? My thought when I read this question the first time, which was about an hour before this podcast started, was that I would be telling you with your current speakers to experiment with toe-in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you're not thinking your soundstage is wide enough, you have your toe-in wrong. And it could be your speakers are too close together. It could be they need to be a little bit wider. But I'm betting that experimenting with toe-in would make a big difference in how wide you perceived your soundstage to be. So when you get your new speakers, or has he already gotten them? Or he just ordered them?
Yeah.
When you get your new speakers, I would make sure that I didn't just place them in the place that the other ones were and hope that everything's good. I would experiment with toe-in. And by toe-in, we mean aiming the speakers either towards or away from you. When I do that, I usually start the speakers facing straight out, listen to some two-channel music for a little bit, and then point the speakers directly at my face, from where I'm sitting, of course, and listen to some two-channel music, and then start slowly rotating them in and out until I get what I consider to be an adequate soundstage. To make sure that my soundstage is wide enough, I look for songs that have either, generally tend to sound very big, or that pan from left to right across the front of your stage, which is really easy if you find something that does that, because you can see how far outside or inside the room it goes.
Yeah, no, it's
based on your speakers.
It's kind of important to point out that the size of the soundstage, and maybe we should just sort of define the soundstage, because this was something Dave actually did really nicely when he emailed Michael back, was he sort of delineated between soundstage and imaging, which are things that are kind of related, but not always perfectly clear. So imagine the soundstage is you're sitting in an audience, you're looking at live musicians playing on a stage. The soundstage is literally the sense of how wide is that stage. Is this one person sitting with a lone microphone on a small stage right in front of you? Or is this a big orchestra playing on a big wide stage in an amphitheater? And that depends on the recording. That isn't just entirely up to your speakers, and it's not entirely up to your room. Your room and your speakers both play a significant role, but it's also very much up to the recording. The imaging is how specific the placement of individual voices or instruments are within that soundstage. So can you get a really good sense of the violins are exactly slightly to the right of center and in front, the trombones are to the left of center and in back? Can you image all of that, like close your eyes and you can picture exactly where the instruments are within the soundstage? So there's that delineation between soundstage and imaging. So yeah, you'll want to use a recording. You'll want to use two different types of recordings. You'll want to use something that's like close mic'd, has almost no room sound to it, because that should give you the sense of that performer is in my room. That's what that type of recording
Right.
will do, because it doesn't contain any ambient information of its own. It's all this close mic'd, no reverberation sound to it. So it should be like that person is dead center in front of me in my own room. Then you play something that's a nice big live orchestral recording, and you go, oh, now I get a sense that I've been transported outside of my room to the venue where they made this recording, and how big does it sound then? So it's very important to consider what recording you're listening to. I completely agree with Tom. You play with the toe in to get a different sense of soundstage and imaging specificity as well. I would also go beyond this. Ted, brought up this point, which is really important, is that the height can make a difference too. We most often recommend that you have the tweeters at ear level. But that isn't always exactly where the designer intended for it. It isn't always where they sound exactly best, because that means you're getting perfectly on-axis sound from the tweeter, which can end up sometimes making things sound too distinct or too specific, and you actually prefer a slightly off-axis sound. So it's not a bad idea to experiment with the height of the speaker as well. You don't have to go nuts, but some small adjustments up and down can make a difference to that.
So he asked anything else we could do to improve the sense of spaciousness Soundstage with. We already answered that. His surround speakers are on stands beside and a bit behind his main seats that directly face his TV. But he also has some seating on the left and right sides of the theater area. As such, he has pointed the surround speakers straight ahead and at the front wall. He's seen many diagrams and recommendations to point the surround speakers at each other. What do we think would work best in this particular setup? I totally think you should point them at each other, dude. That I completely disagree with you facing them directly forward. I think that does not work the way it should work. It might be messing up all kinds of other sounds too, to be honest with you. It's not terrible, but I mean, I don't think that the people on the side walls are getting any benefit from having those speakers placed directly forward. I think that you should, if anything, each other, and maybe you can angle them a little bit towards the couch if you're worried about that.
Right.
But I would just face them directly towards each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, if this were the ideal world, they'd kind of be farther apart. But I can see with the
can you move them farther apart? Is that an option? Can we do that?
I'm kind of seeing how it might not, because he definitely needs a walkway from his forward-facing couch and his right-facing couch. So if he moved the right surround speaker over, it might end up blocking the walkway, or be right next to the bottom of the stairs. The left side doesn't have a wall, so it would be right in the middle of an open space. So I can see how he arrived.
It's already in the middle of the open space. What are we talking
but
about
it's adjacent to the couch, so I can see how he arrived at this placement.
Well, I mean, I would even move them forward so that they're in line with that couch, maybe a little bit. A little bit closer to that couch, and then cheat them out from the couch. So they're actually behind the couch right now. I would move them next to the couch and out further, and then facing each other. That's what I would do. And that would actually put them in line. Like the right one would be in line with the right couch, and the left one would be in line with the left couch. And it puts them a little bit more, to me, that's what I would do.
Okay. Yeah, I dig that. I'm down with that. But yeah,
actually take that right speaker and put it on top of what looks like a bookcase off to the right side there. You can put that there and save that stand for something else.
Nice solution, Tom. I like that.
All right. What do we got here? Is that it? Okay, good. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.